All right, so today I'm bringing you a build video, and today's video is going to be on 300 Blackout. I've already built out a 300 Blackout, and I'm finding the use case scenario for a 30 cal cartridge in a shortened compact package. And I really like it because you can use a shorter barrel with 300 Blackout, get a full powder burn. You get a lot of muzzle energy with not a with a compact package, I should say, right? And I've already built one out. This is my first 300 Blackout that I built. It's a 10.5 inch barrel, 10.5 inch Maxim barrel, mil spec upper and lower. Did it all in FDE, and I liked this one because it's compact, right? This is about 22.5 inches overall length. This one on the bottom. It shoots well. It's hold on, let me see. Actually, it's 21.5 inches overall length. So it's pretty short, but the problem is, while this does fit in a backpack, it's kind of just odd shaped with, it's thick because you have to fold it and stuff. I really like it. Now that 300 Blackout is more available, it's like a less expensive to shoot than it was. It used to be about $1 a round. It's still about $1 a round for subsonic ammunition, but I've been mainly using 110 grain VMAX, and I'm finding that 110 grain VMAX are a very good self-defense round. And I really like these PDW style weapons. 5.56 doesn't do well, and it really doesn't even do well in 10.3 inch barrels or 10.5 inch barrels. You can use 77 grain to kind of overcome some of these deficiencies, but I really like supersonic 300 Blackout. I don't have adjustable gas blocks on these, and I've built both of these for a purpose. A lot of these are a little over gas just because of the barrels that I use. It's a 10.5 inch Maxim barrel on this, and it's been a good weapon system. However, I've been wanting something. I really like the length too, but it's about the size of a 10.5 inch 5.56 AR-15, obviously. So it's not a bad rifle, but I wanted something a little more compact, which is why I built this one. And let's just show weapon is clear, nothing in the magazine, nothing in the chamber. She is all clear to go. And I built this one with a specific purpose. I built this one to be a PDW, which is why I got the PDW style brace on it. I kind of wanted to go a little bit shorter on the barrel, but I still wanted enough muzzle velocity so I could get a good energy turnout for the 110 grain VMAX that I'm using. Obviously, there are shorter packages out there. I know some people make 5.5. I think there's like 7.5 inch, 9 inch 300 Blackout barrels. This one in particular is a 8.5 inch Criterion barrel. I really like Criterion barrels. It's chrome lined, hand lapped, quality barrel. My main focus is usually around the barrel and the BCG. I just got this one back. I had the gas block pinned. It is a non-adjustable gas block. It's just a regular like BCM gas block. I think I put in this. I did have it drilled for a pin. I just have to put in the pin here when I have the time. I have an ASR flash hider on here. I'll probably run I've got the same muzzle device on my other 300 Blackout, so I'll probably run a 30 cal silence the code can on this. I am trying out, I should say, like I've got friends who run night vision, and I was hoping that I could train with them at some point and get more into night vision. So I bought a IR device, and I actually kind of like it because it's actually a visible laser device too. It's got a white light on it. Not super confident in the white light or in the device itself. It's a pretty inexpensive IR device. I think it was like 200 bucks. So I figured it was a good way to get into the IR game. and just try it out, saying that I don't have the disposable income of like $10,000 to invest into um, night vision at the moment. But I kind of built this gun around a night vision PDW style type weapon. And I need to go out and shoot it and really test fire it. This is a home built gun, so this isn't factory. And some people have like I don't know, some apprehension with using home built guns for duty. But if you know what you're doing, I think you'll be okay. It all started out with the lower, and this lower I bought on sale through Shield Arms. It was $75 for the billet lower. I ended up buying 3 lowers just because I like them. So for $75 a piece, I didn't think I could go wrong. So I paid like $225. That's what it cost me to get it shipped to my FFL. I only got to pay $30 for the transfer fee for all 3. So I mean, it was like $250 for 3 billet lowers. And these are pretty nice lowers. Nothing special, just a little bit different than mil spec. There are no ambi controls on it, but I did design this around the lower. I wanted something in 300 Blackout. And so I decided, since I kind of got the billet lower, I wanted to get like a billet up receiver. And I wanted to run a quad rail. I don't have a quad rail, so I thought a quad rail is kind of missing out of my repertoire of AR-15s, I should say. I ended up going with a company called AT3 Tactical, only because there aren't a whole lot of handguard lengths that will accommodate an 8.5-inch 300 Blackout barrel, or 8.5-inch barrel, I should say. I didn't want it to overlap the muzzle device. I still wanted it to come pretty close to the end. And I wanted that billet look. Also didn't want a Delta Ring style handguard. I like free floated handguards, and that's why I went with AT3. They had something in FDE. It had a billet upper, no forward assist, but I'm okay with that. It had a quad rail. I think this is what is this? Must be an 8-inch rail, and it seems to be pretty nice, especially for the price. It was really inexpensive. The only really big complaint I have about the upper receiver, it is made out of 60-61 instead of 70-75. I would have much preferred to have a 70-75, but honestly, the barrel barrel and bolt carrier group are really the important parts. So I went with the AT3 quad rail. I forget what the actual like model and stuff is. You can find it on their site. Really inexpensive. I think it was like $110 for the quad rail and the upper receiver, both Cerakoted and flat dark earth. So I thought it was a good deal. The lockup seems to be good. You have a nice little cutout notch in the upper receiver where the handguard meets. The barrel nut, obviously, I tore to 40 foot-pounds, and it's got a good clamping style mechanism around that barrel nut. So I don't have any complaints about how well the handguard meets up with the barrel nut. There isn't really going to be any twisting, and with the quad rail, it should offer substantially like more impact resistance. It's not going to bend the rail. The quad rail kind of protects that handguard, where just a straight M-lock could possibly get bent or destroyed or damaged somehow. The downside of quad rails is obviously they weigh more, but I really wasn't concerned about weight just because it was going to be so light. Just for reference, as you see it, this is a 5.5 pound. I think it's 5 pounds 10 ounces for the rifle setup or the pistol setup, and it's like 6 pounds. I want to say almost 6.5 pounds with a 20 round magazine with 110 grain VMAX in it. So not too bad. It's pretty lightweight, especially when you're considering got a quad rail. I've got a laser device and a flashlight. I went with a Surefire DFT Turbo and tan. I really like the Turbo series. You can pick these up for like $230. like any day. So that's kind of why I picked it. It's cheaper than Cloud, it's cheaper than Mod Light. It's got really good candela. It's throwing something like 90,000 candela for like 30 minutes out of a 18350 battery, and really like it. It came with the pick mount, where most you have to buy like your mount separately. So it came with the pick mount, which was a big pro to me, since I didn't have to invest extra money into the flashlight mount, and it's a good flashlight. Surefire is definitely tested. The Z68 tail caps, which they all Surefire rifle lights come with, are some of my favorite button push. They are my favorite button push weapon light tail caps on the market. ASR flash hider, just because I want to hide flash. I'm not really concerned about controlling muzzle rise with a PDW style weapon. I really didn't want like a break or a comp or anything, saying that I could be shooting close to people if I had to deploy this weapon. And SMS laser, like I said, it's a really inexpensive IR device. I bought 3 of these just to test out, and I'm going to see how well they hold up. So far, I'm really impressed for the price. It's got a lot of good features. It's actually got a decent white light on it. I want to say it's like 60-70,000 candela and over 1,000 lumens. So it's a decent white light. Let's see. I'll put the white light on. You can see how bright that is there, even though the my tool bench light's pretty light. So there's the Surefire at like 80,000, 90,000 candela. And then here's the SMS laser. To me, it doesn't look that much different. It throws really well. It's a decent light. If you're looking for a 2-in-1 device, it's not a bad device. It's just it's got a proprietary battery. It's not 18650 or 18350 like I hope. And the IPX waterproof ratings like an IPX68. I just wish they would work on their IPX water ratings a little bit more. But other than that, the laser, both the IR and the visible laser, are over bore, which is really nice. It holds 0. I have currently this zeroed at 25. I know it doesn't look that bright on the black, but I promise you, this laser is extremely visible, extremely bright. Double tap it to stay on, and you can actually adjust the brightness. You can go down in brightness if you'd like to. It's got a lot of good features for a $200 IR invisible laser device. For the optic, now I had this Holosun Ames on another rifle. I ended up taking that off and putting another optic on there, and I went with an ADM QD Ames mount. This is 2.33 height over bore. I went with that because night vision, hopefully. I went with the titanium lever. Even though I'm not like huge on QD, I don't plan on taking this on and off. I have tested the return to 0. It returns to 0 really, really well. ADM makes some quality stuff, and the titanium lever should save you like a little bit of weight. You're probably talking like a couple of grams, if anything. But it wasn't that much more expensive than the regular standard lever. And I do like the profile of the titanium lever a little bit more than the standard or the tactical levers that ADM produces. I kind of wish this was an Ames, like a regular Ames, not the Ames core, but it is what it is. It's a decent optic for the money. I think I picked this up for like $200, the Holosun Ames. The mount itself was about $100, so I got half the money in the mount that I do the optic. I put a lower parts kit in this. It's just standard mil spec for the most part. I did have it Cerakoted, so the mag catch right here is FDE. The bolt catch right here is FDE. The takedown and pivot pin is also an FDE. Magazine release button is an FDE. I put the Strike Industries polymer dust cover on this just because it's an FDE. I will talk about the bolt here in a minute. Radian Talon and Raptor charging handle and safety selector. I really like those. Those are both an FDE. I went with a B5 Systems P22 grip and FDE. I really like this grip. I didn't want like the P23 with the high beaver tail. I kind of want it to be seamless with my lower. Still deciding whether I like that or not. I might go with like a smaller grip or chop this one down a little bit just to make it a little bit shorter for the PDW package. I really like B5 grips because of the texture. My only complaint with B5 grips is I wish they texture the back strap along with the front and sides. But I really like B5 grips. Probably my second favorite grip on the market. My first one being Magpul K2 Pluses, but that rubber over molding gets a little sticky over time with a lot of use and stuff. That's my only complaint with the Magpul K2s. So let's talk about the trigger, and then I'll talk about the buffer system and the BCG because it was kind of designed in unison with all of that. So the trigger is you're not going to be able to see it. It's a Geisley SSP curved trigger. Really nice trigger. Single stage. SSP stands for single stage precision. Nice reset. Nice break. Really crisp. If you look hard enough, you can find these single stage precisions for about 150, 160 bucks. I think I picked it up for 150. I am running dedicated 300 Blackout mags. I suggest you do the same. I ended up buying like 10 of the 30 rounders and 5 or 6 of these 20 rounders since I had two 300 Blackout rifles now. And then let's talk about the buffer system because it is proprietary. It's my first time using something like this, but I have used like PDW style braces. I have the SB Tactical PDW brace, which just uses a standard buffer spring and buffer weight. You can put whatever you want in there. I've got like some Super 42s with an H2 in one. I think I got an H1 in the other. So that's what's nice about like the SB Tactical PDWs. This is a Maxim Defense SCW. What makes this special is that the actual length of the buffer system is only 4 inches. So from the back to here, it's only adds 4 inches, whereas like a standard buffer system, I think's about 7.5 inches. So it cuts off like 3.5 inches off your buffer system, and it runs really flat with the pistol brace. So the overall length of this weapon system, it's only 22 inches, and I could shorten that up. If I got like just an A2 flash hider or a shortened muzzle device or something, I could shorten this up to 21 inches probably. Fits in a backpack. It's really compact. That's really what I wanted out of this particular pistol, right? Let's call it a pistol. The buffer system is really unique because it's proprietary. So it's got here. I'll take it apart. It's not that bad. Might be a little bit hard on camera because these pins are a little bit hard to take out. The upper and lower fits definitely tight, especially for this pivot pin. But that means there's no slop in there. You have to be careful with this because you're going to have it a little under pressure, right? There's your recoil spring. It's a shortened buffer spring, recoil spring, whatever you want to call it. Here's a standard size one, so it's like a little more than half the length of a standard buffer spring. And this is a standard buffer weight, and it's about half the length of a standard buffer weight. Now with supers, this runs okay. I believe this is like a 3.3 ounce buffer. They do make aftermarket buffers and springs for this kit if you want to buy them. The brace system, because it comes with the brace, the tube, the spring, the buffer weight, and the BCG. It's a modified BCG. Here's the BCG for it. And how that works is this goes in the end there, and this goes into it pretty much sticks right even with your upper receiver. So you can kind of see how that works. Kind of interesting design. I will say this was extremely dry when I first got it. I've really had to apply a lot of oil to this just to make it not sound like so freaking dry when I'm charging the handle. And you can see how they modified this bolt carrier group. I basically think they just chopped off a regular bolt carrier group. Everything else is pretty standard. My main complaint with the bolt carrier group is, well, there's a couple. They use YFS fasteners. I would prefer like grade 8 fasteners instead. The bolt itself, I think, I want to say it's 9310 instead of Carpenter 158, is nickel boron coated. You could change the bolt out with whatever bolt that you wanted to, though. So I'm thinking about switching the actual bolt out itself. The carrier itself is phosphate with a chrome lining. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but it is chrome lined there. Cam pin is nickel boron. Carrier is 8620. Again, I just think they chopped a regular carrier group out and then milled out the inside so this buffer weight could fit inside of it like that. And that's how they get this system to work. You could change this out to a stock if you ever wanted to SBR this, which is nice. Hold on. See if I can get that out. And what's interesting, it uses a 1/4-inch drive to be able to tighten the buffer system. So I need to tighten that down a little bit, but I forget what the torque rating is for that, but I just kind of wanted to show that. And obviously, you don't use your buffer retaining pin in this particular system and stuff. So the brace system is very well machined. It's rock solid. I was afraid that with all this space between the buffer and the actual cheek weld right here, that you wouldn't have anywhere to rest your head and stuff. But my head rests right here just fine. It does fine with the 2.33 height over bore. I actually think it's quite comfortable, and it's rock solid. Like, this is solid. It isn't going anywhere. It feels very substantial. I'm very happy with how this turned out. Maxim Defense did a pretty good job with it. Like, I would change a few things with the carrier, but other than that, seems to be very well thought out and designed. It is expensive though. You're talking $400, but for $400, you're getting your brace or your stock, your buffer spring, your buffer weight, and your bolt carry group, right? So you're getting all that, and this is how you would put it back together. What I like to do is I like to cock the hammer, put it on safe, put the bolt carrier group in, put the buffer weight into the bolt carrier group, and then you kind of have to line that spring up, put a little bit of pressure in there, and then as long as you get one pin, you're good. Do that, and you're good to go, right? So this is a very interesting weapon system, just because of how compact it is. Maxim makes their PDX, which is 5.5 inches. I think their overall length with the same SCW system is 18 3/4 inches. So you could shave off a lot more length, right? So basically, their PDX system comes all the way out to the handguard with a 5.5 inch 300 blackout 7.62 by 39 or 5.56. 5.56 seems like it's just a waste out of a 5.5 inch barrel. 300 blackout would probably do okay. 7.62 by 39 really needs like 8 or 9 inches to really be effective. 300 blackout, like I said, you can get away with, but you're still able to get like a better powder burn, more muzzle velocity out of the 8.5 inch. And I like Criterion barrels. I'll probably run Criterion barrels for a while. Not that there's anything wrong with like Ballistic Advantage, Roscoe, Faxon, any of those other uh, barrel manufacturers out there. FN, just Criterion makes good stuff. So I kind of bought the lower, then I thought about what I wanted to do 300 Blackout, bought the Criterion barrel because I already have a 10.5 inch. I wanted something shorter. I actually was going to put a lot of tactical on this. I'm like, well, I already got a 300 Blackout in FDE with a lot of tactical. Even though this is basically the same gun, just, you know, 2 inches shorter as far as the barrel length goes, this is like easier to stow into a backpack for one, and I don't have to unfold it. If I have to shoot it while it's in its collapsed position, it 100% functions in its collapsed position. And it's basically the same length as my 10.5 inch folded. So you can see how compact that is. Granted, the 10.5 is going to be a little more effective at longer ranges, but with 300 Blackout, I'll probably be shooting 50 yards an in, maybe 75 yards an in. I believe I have it zeroed at 50 yards, just because with the PDW style weapon, you're going to be basically taking shots 50 yards an in my opinion. So, and I'm not too concerned about. I want to be able to deploy this quickly, I should say. And having it ready without having to unfold it's definitely a plus. You can single point this. It's got a single point sling mount right here. Not a huge fan of single point slings, but for a PDW style weapon, it works really, really well. I would absolutely single point sling this. And what's nice about this brace, it's just it does rapidly deploy. You just grip and rip it, as they call it. You could do it a couple ways. You can do it from the bottom like this. You could do it from the top, right? There's a lot of ways you can do it. Very easy to deploy, very compact. I think it's a cool looking weapon system. If I really want to shave off weight, I'll just take off the laser system. I could change out the handguard to an M-lock handguard. And I could probably shave off 3/4 of a pound if I made those changes to this. But 6.5 pounds with a loaded magazine is not bad. And 300 Blackout is twice as heavy as 5.56. So you'll feel the weight of a loaded 300 Blackout magazine opposed to a weight of a loaded 5.56 mag. So that is something to keep in mind with 300 Blackout. And I think, I definitely know 300 Blackout shines. Subsonic. It was designed at 300 Whisper. It really shines with subsonic ammunition and suppressed. But I think there is a very good use case for a dedicated supersonic only 300 Blackout, where you're not having to worry about suppressing it, adjusting gas blocks, just running 125 grain and under ammunition. I think is it can be useful, right? It could be a useful tool in your toolbox if you wanted to do that. And what's nice about 300 Blackout is you can shorten your barrel length, unlike 5.56, where the effectiveness of that cartridge is due to its velocity. In order to get good velocity, you need longer barrel lengths. You don't need that with 300 Blackout. You can almost get the same foot-pounds of energy out of a 8.5-inch barrel as you can out of a 14.5-inch 5.56. Obviously, you're not going to go out to distance with 300 Blackout, but that's not what it was really designed to. You could absolutely shoot targets. You could hit steel at like 200, 300 yards if you want to. I just wouldn't, just because I don't see a use case for this. So I think this is a better option than going like a PCC. Obviously, ammunition is going to be more expensive than like 9mm for a PCC, but I think this can be an effective tool for sure. So wasn't sure really about the Maxim Defense stuff, but the more I looked into the PDX, the more I looked into this SCW brace and stock system, the more I really kind of started to understand why they did what they did. They're expensive. They manufacture expensive things, but it all seems to work in conjunction with their own parts, right? At least their upper. Actually, I was entertaining on buying the PDX upper in conjunction with the SCW brace, but I decided to go with this, dedicated as a supersonic gun, and we'll see how that goes. So let me know what you guys think of my 300 Blackout build. Do you like this 8.5-inch Criterion build? That's, overall length of 22 inches. Or would you have rather gone with the 10.5-inch foldable 300 Blackout? Almost the same gun, right? I put a ScalarWorks mount on this. It's a 193 height over bore. With this is the regular aims, but it's in flat dark earth. And I'm running a Cloud Defensive Rain Micro 3.0, SBA 4, log tactical, mil spec, hyperfire trigger, mil spec upper and lower. I mean, it's really nothing special, but it's been very reliable with supers. It's had some feeding issues with, was it like 150 grain and 220 grains out of this particular weapon system, but it wasn't designed to really shoot subsonic, so I'm not mad at it. But which one would you pick? Would you rather have it folded, a little more velocity out of your 10.5-inch, or you like the PDW style 8.5-inch? I know it's like the new girl, and I'm going to be a little more excited about my new rifle as opposed to my old one. But I am going with the 8.5-inch Criterion build, just because I think this brace system is so freaking cool. It really is. It really is a cool cool little package, right? It's expensive, but cool nonetheless. I plan on running about 200 to 300 rounds of the 110 grain VMAX out of this weekend, and we'll put her through her paces and see how well she does with a couple of mag dumps when the barrel's hot, when she gets a little bit gunked up, and we'll see how reliable it is. I'm just going to run the standard spring and the standard buffer weight and see how that goes. So saying that I think they use an H1 in that 5.5-inch. I think this will be okay with the standard weight and spring, and an 8.5-inch with 3 more inches. So anyway, guys, that is my 300 Blackout AR-15 build. Really, really digging the look of this whole thing. I think it's aesthetically looks good, but every piece has a purpose and stuff. And while there are a few things I wish I could change to this, like I said, 70-75 on the upper would be ideal. I think for the majority of us, 60-61 will be just fine, right? It takes a lot to wear out an upper receiver. I've only seen a worn out upper receiver on like 3 weapon systems, and I've seen a lot of AR-15s with a lot of rounds. So I'm not that concerned about wearing out the 60-61 before I shoot out the barrel, or before something other catastrophic happens to the weapon system. So anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think. Comment below, and join me next time.